Hi guys, my name is Amaya, and this is going to be more of a serious video rather than like a cover or just like a goofy video, because this is a topic that's very, very, very near and dear to my heart, and I don't know, I've been kind of hesitant about making it because I don't want to glamorize anything, but I don't know, I just feel like I need to voice some things about this topic, and this would be, depression and self-harm and like it's kind of being nice to people in general. So I'm really sorry if this is like long or if it's a rant or whatever, because I won't be surprised if I go on for 5 minutes, maybe longer. So yeah. Now the first thing I want to touch on is depression. One time I heard in a psychology class that if mental disorders were like illnesses, like regular illnesses, then depression would be the common cold. So it's quite common, and especially in teenagers and just in people in general, it's a really common mental disorder. And it just bugs me so much when people, I get asked like this all the time when they're like, your life is fine, why are you so sad? Like, you can't have depression, you're perfect. Like, your parents are still together, you have no reason to be sad. And that just pisses me off so much because depression doesn't choose its victims based on, social or economic status or looks or gender or, race or sexual orientation. It just hits. It doesn't matter if you're straight or if you have pink hair like me or if you're of Irish descent. It really doesn't matter. And it just blows my mind how people don't understand this. You could be the prettiest or most handsome person in the world, but if you get depression, your looks aren't going to matter. And now my next topic is going to be self-harm, and again, this is something very, very, very serious to me, and I don't take it lightly. So I get a lot of questions on Tumblr and in real life about my scars, and so I just thought I would clear this up for people. For those of you who don't know it, it's just self-harm doesn't necessarily have to be, laceration or cutting. It can be burning, punching walls, anything. And recently I've gotten a lot of questions about how it helps. And so I just thought I would lay down some facts, or well, not necessarily facts, but things that I've experienced and I know, and people who have experienced things too, why they do it, if that makes any sense. And so one of the scientific facts is it releases a hormone that is calming and relaxing, and it just kind of makes you let go of things. So that's definitely a big thing. When you hurt yourself, it releases this hormone, and I think that hormone is also released when you have an orgasm. I know this is super awkward to talk about, but yeah, so that's one of the main reasons, the scientific facts. And then as to why people do it, other than the hormone that's released, I've heard a lot of things from friends who have gone through it and from, my own personal experience, but some people do it for control, they need something they have control over in their life because they feel so out of it. And some people do it to make sure that they're still alive and they're still, breathing and existing. So, because if you get depression, some people can go totally numb, stop talking, stop functioning. So, self-harm can be a way to see that you're still alive, you are still a person, and there's still blood pumping through you. One of the most common ones that I've heard of is turning emotional pain into physical pain. And what I mean by that is, when you have emotional pain, it feels endless. It feels infinite because it's not in a tangible form. You can't see it in front of you. It's just in your head, and it just hurts so much that you want to turn it into something more tangible, something that you can see, something that you can feel, rather than just these thoughts floating around in your head. So what people do is they take emotional pain and turn it into physical pain. So they take the pain that they're feeling in their heads and put it on their bodies. So that's I'd say that's one of the most common, or at least that's what I've heard the most for people who've decided to open up to me about it. But if you guys can think of any other reasons, let me know so I can, if I ever make another one of these videos, I can include it in there. And then this should be the last thing that I touch on, but who knows, I might end up going on a rant, so you never know. But this is me, like, kindness and just being kind and considerate to other people. Like, you know, the golden rule, we learned it in kindergarten, treat people the way you want to be treated. So this is gonna be kind of like a little anecdote, but I was driving home from school with my mom. This was a few weeks ago, and my mom doesn't have a job right now, so she's like watching the news all the time whenever it's on, and she told me about a school shooting that had happened, and it was a little 12-year-old boy who walked into his middle school and started shooting because he was so severely bullied, and he shot, I don't remember the exact number, but he shot quite a few kids, and then he shot himself. And I was just so devastated. And it led me to kind of make this rant, even though this was a few weeks ago. But I was just thinking, if everyone would just be nice to each other, like, you know, treat people with kindness and consideration and, you know, think of what's going on around you rather than just, you know, you and your own little world. If people could do that, we would solve so many issues that are a huge part of our society today. We could solve most of the wars in the world. If we could talk to each other like normal human beings, we would save not only the government tons of money, but we would save thousands of lives because we wouldn't have to send people overseas to fight a war that is based off just arguing, rather than talking things through and trying to compromise. And I know I sound like a total hippie right now because I'm like peace and love, but it's really true. If you could just be nice to people and treat other people like they're a normal human being just like you, then we could solve so many problems. If, like, no matter what a person's gender or religion or economic status, I don't care if they're, you know, African American or black, or if they're Asian, or if they're below the poverty line, or if they're gay or straight, or whatever you are, if you could just be nice to people, if you could just be nice to everyone no matter what they've done, then we would solve war, we would solve suicide. It's just, the possibilities are endless. I feel like a lot of our society's problems today are built off of, you know, just stupid arguments. Like, it's just mind-blowing to think that tons of problems can be linked back to just one small thing. Like, I think this is a really old story, but it still touches my heart every time I hear it. But there was a man who jumped off the, I think it was the San Francisco Bay Bridge. I don't remember how many years ago this was, and in his suicide note, he wrote, "I'm going to walk down to the bridge today, and if someone smiles at me on the way there, I won't jump." And he jumped. And I think that's all I have to say for this video. I mean, I could go on for hours and hours and hours about this particular topic, but it probably wouldn't make much sense, and I don't think you guys want to watch that. So just as a conclusion, just want to know that if you are struggling with depression or self-harm or anxiety or schizophrenia or, you know, whatever you have, I'm always available to talk. Like, always. I don't even care what time of the day it is. Just, you're not alone, and you don't have to go through this alone. Everyone deserves a right to be here, and you're no different. So I'll put the links below, and if you ever want to talk, then just come talk to me, because I'll always listen. And if you don't want me to say anything, just tell me. But you're a human being too, and you deserve to be loved just as much as the next person.
I don't wanna live a day without you. I just wanna be the one that makes you happy.